Zach, I forgot about you for the first 5 minutes of notes, so there's page 1. You can hit the pause button. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4.
Transformations of exponentials. The little theorem here is that any transformed exponential can be written as a b to the x plus the constant, where y equals c is the horizontal asymptote. And because of the shift, the vertical intercept is shifted as well. Now it's 0 and a plus c. It was 0a, because of the shift, it's a plus c. That's the theorem. I guess this we're supposed to graph something with transformations. So sketch a graph of f of x equals -3. And I don't know why it looks like there's a negative symbol in there. There's not. That's positive 1/2 to the x plus 4. How's the graph get moved? Up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that takes everything and shifts it, guess what? Up 4. So without the plus 4 here, pretend that wasn't here, we know we would contain the point 0, -3, right?
Yep.
But what do you have to do with it?
You
have to add 4. So now we contain the point 0, 1. That's what that theorem is saying. We have a negative
Oh, it's
symbol.
just saying that your second point, you're gonna add the numbers.
Yeah. We also always contain the point 1AB, but that's also going to change a little bit here. Think about that. We have that old 1AB. Something's going to happen. If we just do 1AB, and literally I don't even know why I have to mess with it. If you just plug in a 1, you're going to have to add 4 to that thing, aren't you? So even that one's going to be plus the constant. They both change to plus C. But I would just plug in the numbers and be done with it. What does that give you? 5/2, right? 2.5, 5/2, whatever you want. You can take the point 1, 5/2. It's about right there. Normally when you do exponential growth, you see something that looks like this. But what's out front of this thing? That causes a reflection. Now, it looks like this. They're not that hard to figure out. If you draw in the horizontal asymptote, you'll be like, oh, I can't cross that line. If you don't draw in the horizontal asymptote, you might miss it. Because you'd be very tempted without that horizontal asymptote to make that look like growth, wouldn't you? Draw that in first. All right.
Which means, does it have to stay under?
It has to. Yeah. The exponential functions never cross the horizontal asymptote. A lot of functions do, exponentials aren't one of them. You want another one of those, and that can make up anything in the world. Where's the horizontal asymptote on this one? Horizontal asymptote is y equals -4. That would be the very first thing I do. And the rest of it, you don't even have to rely on the theorems. Plug in a 0, plug in a 1. That's what I would do. I would let x be 0 and I'd let x be 1. Because that's what those two little theorems I was telling you about are about, letting x be 0 and 1. So if you let x be 0, what will get returned? Look at the whole equation.
0, -6.
-6. Right there. How about if you let x be 1?
1.
That's a mixed number, it's -4.5, isn't it? Just go with it. -4.5. I like proper fractions too, or I like improper fractions too.
Right.
You would have -2 times a quarter, which is -1/2. Take away 4. Maybe 4.5. I'm tired. I'm not that tired. Can you cross the horizontal asymptote? No, that's not a big deal. And there's your little graph. Done with those. What else? Find an equation for the function graph. So think about the form we're using here. This is y equals ab to the x. That's all it is. I would start off with that.
Is the asymptote 5? Or can you assume it by looking at
I
it?
know it doesn't. I don't disagree with that at all. There is an asymptote.
Frequency is good as well.
And there is a nice, good, solid point. So here's what we know so far. We believe we have an asymptote at y equals 5. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, is it always okay to assume it?
I don't think it's going to matter, but we believe we have a horizontal asymptote at y equals 5. We know we contain 0, 2. If we contain the horizontal, I'm going to use the horizontal. Do you see another nice point, by the way?
Yeah, negative.
I'm up to -2, but I don't know for sure.
I would not use that point. Looking at my graph up here, that's not
It looks
nice.
a little funny.
Since we only have one good point, we're going to use the fact that we're identifying the horizontal asymptote at 5. Okay? That might help us. It would be nice if there was another good point.
It's
Kind of sucks there isn't.
what's the case, you don't know what's going
There's another
on.
point.
How do you do that?
We know, yes, that's right. I was trying to think, well, even when we plug in, we're going to have 2 unknowns here. It's going to be kind of a bugger. It is negative. Okay, so I'm expecting the A value to be negative. Hold on. I actually expect B to be negative on this one.
It doesn't have to be negative, does it? There's nothing less than 1.
It's the type of the reflection. I'm pretty tired to explain this.
Oh, well, no, the exact normal.
This is normal. This is y equals ab to the x. All right. If you reflect it like this, that would be y equals ab to the negative x.
Negative x or negative b?
Negative x. If you take that graph and you reflect it over the x-axis, you can either have negative ab to the negative x or a negative b to the negative x. So this is kind of what I'm thinking it's going to be. Probably something y equals negative a to b to the negative x. One of those is negative, either a or b. Anyways, that's what I expect. We actually need another good point to do this. We really, really need another good point. I don't see one, which is kind of a bummer. When x is 0, we got something like 1.2. That's hideous. Sorry, when y is 0. Well, if we plug in what we have, we would have 2 equals. Oh, this is enough. I'm just being stupid. 2 equals a b to the 0 plus 5. Isn't that enough?
Yeah.
I'm just being stupid.
Lost 2.
So A is negative 2.
Oh, yes.
That'll give us -3 equals, hey. Oh, we got one thing. Yeah, didn't have enough. We now have y equals 3b to the x plus 5. -3, thank you.
What's that happen here too? It's just another point, you don't use that equation.
I plugged it in to get something. I still don't have enough here, do I? I bet if I was to go back and look at the others. Might have to rely on a theorem here. Page is back.
Why can't you plug in, oh wait.
Guys, you're gonna have to let me think. I've had 3 hours. You can't have 4 conversations at once. Let me think. I was thinking about this. I don't know if it's going anywhere. And now, wonder if those are useful. That's what I'm a little curious about. Are those useful? Just let me think, Cora. Again, I've had about 3 hours of sleep. So we have to contain the point 0 and a plus c. We also contain the point 1 and then ab plus c. The 0 and a plus c is taken care of because our a value was -3, right? -3 plus 5, doesn't it give us the 2? There's this point 1 ab plus c. Man, if only I knew that. We're going to have to do something I hate doing. We're going to have to guess a point. I'd be willing to bet that that's what they did in the text here. It appears the graph passes through -1, 3. That's what they did, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Now I see it clear as daylight. I didn't see it before. Why didn't you say something?
You just said there weren't any other good points, so we thought it was a good point.
I didn't see it. I've had 3 hours of sleep. I did not see it. So I just went around the world on y'all. For that, I apologize. But we could have actually done that all right here, couldn't we? No. We'll start right there. We have y equals -3b to the x. And we have another value set of points here we can plug in -1, 3. So everywhere I see a y, what am I? 3. And everywhere I see an x, -1. 3 equals -3b to the -1st power. And add 5. That'll be -2 equals -3 over b. Or it doesn't actually matter. Do you guys want to write it over b, or do you want to leave it as b to the -1st? Are you okay with over b? What would you multiply both sides by? B. -2b is -3. And what's your b value? 3/2. And there's our equation. We probably need to do another one of these since I've worked this thing all up. I know the perfect place to find another one of those. I open math. You know, I do something most teachers do. I never go over my lessons. Most teachers, if you ever watch it, I
Poor
don't,
Zach.
huh?
Poor Zach.
Yeah, poor Zach. Yeah, I remember watching all my old math teachers when they taught. They had their notes where they'd already reworked everything out ahead of time. I've never done that. Have y'all's past teachers always had a set of notes they looked at? I know Dana did last year.
Well, yeah, she's been like the only one.
Most
Yeah.
math teachers, they just stick to their script they've already written out because they don't want to make mistakes in front of students and look stupid. I don't care. If I make a mistake, so be it. That's not what I'm trying to teach. Work through it. That's what I'm trying to teach. What do I want? I want course, student. You're in 4.2. So let's find a nice graph. Get one of those. That one looks good.
So that wasn't less than one.
It was actually growth, in a sense. It was growth that had been reflected.
That's what gets me.
Well, transformations are kind of rough to deal with. Which is why the 2-point technique is probably better to worry about. All right, so here's your graph. You can jot it down in your notes somewhere. Brody, please get off your phone. Let's see if I can identify 2 nice points this time. 0, 0 is definitely one of them, and then 1, 4. So there are 2 nice points. 2 will do the job. How about a presumed horizontal asymptote? 2. That ought to be enough this time. So we're using our form. Y is ab to the x at a constant. We know the constant is what? 2. Now, can you plug in both points at once? No, it's got to be one then the other. I would plug in 0, 0 first. That's got to be the easiest, right? Even if you have dyslexia, you can't mess it up. If we do that, we'll get -2 is a. Now I have -2 b to the x add 2. Then use your other point. So it's actually not that hard. You just got to find 2 nice points and you're golden. I was trying to work it out earlier when I didn't have 2 nice points and it really threw me for a loop. I'm sure it's doable. I just never done it. So -4 is -2 b to the first. That's nice. Glad it was to the first. Sometimes I do weird stuff like give you a 10th power or something. Subtract 2, that'll give you -6. B is 3. I'm okay with that. Full equation, which is something a lot of y'all don't like to write out. Negative 2, parentheses 3 to the x, add 2. And we're done with that one, finally. Are you better now?
Are we done for today?
No, we're done with that one. Are you better about that now?
What?
That? And your notes ran out, didn't they? Oh,
I think we
no.
better stop on that.
No, I think we better continue.
I'm starting to understand things, and I feel like it's a really good place to just shut it down today.
No. No. I think it's time to start logarithms.
I hate your stinking.
You got a few minutes while I go print these off, Cora. And we may not even get to the logarithms. We're going to do logarithms tomorrow, but we will not finish these notes. Cora, my alternatives here are there to do the logarithms or make the homework in 4.2 mandatory and assign the mild to math.
We'll do 4.2 math.
Really? Huh.
I will do it.
Okay, kids, we got a choice here. You can either do MyOpen Math or we can do start logarithms. You're still getting logarithms.
It's not today. You're just talking about for today.
You're just delaying the.
You're just delaying logarithms is all you're
Oh,
doing.
we've got to do logarithms anyways.
You have to do logarithms. No.
That was just going to be extra work. Well, I kind of thought about actually doing
I can't avoid teaching logarithms.
it. You're in charge of this. You're the
I was
teacher.
4.2.
You do logarithms stuff right now. Oh, I understand that. Hey, is it against him tomorrow?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, can I just do, we can do 4.2 tomorrow? Yeah, I'll just ask him.
Every time your interest scale goes up by 1, everything is multiplied by 10. Your previous. What?
It's like
Yeah, I wish we had. Court class. Who? Court class. I want to do pottery.
No.
You can take a pottery lesson. KK.
Person.
Yeah, it's like class.
What is that?
Yeah.
No. No one said anything.
Or we may not even get to logarithms today.
Saturday, I would challenge 5.
Let's get through these. Now, the first challenge question is really hard to see on your end. Got a little point here, that's at -2, 0.
There's no way.
That's at 1, 0. That's at 3, 0. And if I was guessing now, I would say that that is 0, 18.
What is?
The y-intercept.
Oh.
Well, your job is to find the leading coefficient if this one was in SVD form. Actually, not that hard to do.
Yeah, it's not, you know, STD.
Write down your zeros as factors.
Zeros, you have 1.
If you have a 0 of -2, what's the factor? How many times has it happened?
Twice.
Twice. Touch has happened twice. Remember, all of that starts with the letter A. One never done, it starts with the letter A. That's what you actually want to find.
I think we're allowed to use a calculator on this.
You know, yeah, it's just factor.
Okay, well, maybe I do. Right? Honestly.
It's very easy compared to all the other ones.
Probably the easiest one.
Like,
Yeah. Okay, should we choose? I got my factors, and
Okay, tell me
one
what
is
that is.
squared.
what is
X
what's the
plus
one
2
that-
squared, X plus 4, X plus 3.
-1, -2.
Minus 1 minus 2.
Okay, now what's your point that you can plug in?
You're right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So you put,
I'm giving you a chance to finish, Cora. I heard lots of good things.
What?
I'm gonna let you finish. I just heard lots of good things.
yeah, I think it's a really good idea to try.
Well, that is a great question, not necessarily for the math contest, but for your challenge exam in here. It's not even that hard. Of course, what most kids do is they forget about A. Because a lot of times in all your classes, they make it so that A is 1. It'd be amazing if it was 1 on this one.
It's not a freak. I 2/3. What? No, it's-
She'll figure it out.
Oh
She's
my
fine.
God.
You gotta remember, Cora is coming in biased against you, because Sherry talked so much crap about that compared to you. She was one of those who didn't believe you existed.
Brody even saw him one day doing like the.
Yeah, Brody told me that Kyle was a real person one day in class. First time I saw
A
him.
year straight, every time I was supposed to see him.
He was never here.
Something happened every single time.
Oh, I did that backwards.
Yeah.
He couldn't show us last time. I'm like, cool, there we go.
So y'all literally thought Kyle was somebody I made up like off South Park or something.
Every single time.
Oh, so it's 1.5. Oh, sorry, guys. Y'all are already done. I don't know why I'm apologizing.
I don't actually know what it is, but we got.
Okay, well, I can tell you it's 1.5.
Yeah, you'd have 18 over 12, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I did 12 or 18.
What? All right, there was that one.
Now we can be done today.
No.
I went 2 for 2 here.
Be 2 for 2 again. What's that notate? Well, what's it asking you to find? No. The inverse. Swap X and Y, resolve for what?
There is no Y.
W.
I know, guys, I was just kidding about that one.
Those little cunts. Why would they do something like that? You got something that doesn't match, don't you? You have to manipulate. You have to, whatever you get's not going to match what's up there. You're going to have to manipulate it. Generally speaking, you want things in standard form where x's come before numbers or whatever. So it's going to be manipulated so the x piece comes first. And presumably the x piece is going to be forced to be positive. Did you pick something, David? What'd you pick? Anybody else pick C? Almost. Tatum is right. Try to figure out why. This class over. Oh, this class is over in like 2 minutes. Guys, the bell's going to ring on you in like a minute or so. There's the typed out work. Looks a lot better when it's actually written out as fractions, but that's the typed out work.
Okay, so for like mine, I had from the original.
You can give me your final answer. We can manipulate. What was your final answer?
Dx minus b over a minus cx.
You got dx minus b over a minus cx. Okay, so what you can do is you can pull the negativity out of this thing.
Okay.
That'll leave you with dx minus b up top. You can move the negative to the front of the symbol
And
and then swap signs. Cx minus a.
oh, I didn't see the negative in front of c.
Does anybody else have something you came up with that you need to be shown how to manipulate? Because the odds of you actually kind of what they have are slim to none.
That's so pretty.
You read it with a positive b. I think a lot of it depends on how you shift. I shifted everything left before I factored. If you shifted right, we would add something else. You gotta have a sign mistake somewhere in that go. Anyways, tomorrow, Cora, we will start logarithms. It'll be fine. UTM teachers always tell me the Dresden kids are better at logarithms than anybody else.
That's been me.
Maybe one day they will.
They won't.
They won't.